It's real interesting how it played a role. It's just still very early. We got a lot of things. It's also we watch too much sci-fi horror movies.
Yeah.
But what if those movies and it's our minds that predict really the future? A lot of things that we create, like during Renaissance time, people have so many weird things, but it's actually sent for the future.
You and I have had this talk once before. Something I would love to see is when, just as a summary for people, when we do a diagnosis for someone, we feel their pulse.
Mhm.
You have three levels and three depths. And I thought it would be really cool to devise a device that would be able to read those three. Now, you said that they do have that, or they had created it, but it's really not very accurate. But it would be interesting, just like the same way with the chip, to be able to at least show or read the wavelengths that we can use a study for to decipher or figure out what those patterns were.
See, it's really good for us in America. We don't do the pulse that much because we don't see that many patients
That too.
in settings or if there's hospital setting. Compare in contrast to Chinese people in China, they see hundreds of patients. They feel it. If we can develop the wavelength, then we could have some kind of device that feel like a human's wrist that helps improve our skills.
Yeah.
Well, that would be great. But
So,
there's a lot of things out there now, especially nowadays. The technology is much advanced compared in the 80s, early 90s, or heck, 10 years ago. I don't like that. My skill's not that great, to be honest. Even the tongue, if they could analyze the tongue with the AI systems, yeah, it's interesting. If you plant this microchip in your mind, oh, it help you analyze it, right? You could be a good practitioner. Will people want that?
well, see now we're going kind of like the now we're going down a certain science fiction area where all we do is we have a scanner and we just put it in front of the person. It reads the chip, and the chip itself can read the body structure at the time. And it
Oh,
can, it can tell what's your blood count, which white, what's your
the
red blood
iPhone.
cell count, which white blood cell count. It already does that with the SB
Mhm.
oxygen level. Uh, but any other changes of function inside the body too.
So
It's cool that the chip can run it. It just shouldn't be able to change it if something needs changing.
So that's similar to like the iWatch, right? Apple
Yeah.
Watch. They do the heart rates is amazing, but there's always error to it. I believe no matter what, human touch is always different. We sense like
Yes.
chi,
Well,
how they sense that. It's different.
somebody somebody once tried to coin the phrase that it's an electromagnetic field around the body. And yeah, one in our term in traditional Chinese medicine terms, I'll use Wei Qi
Mm.
as an example because Wei Qi is supposedly the
Mhm.
surrounding of the body
Mhm.
for a protective layer against disease and other things. Yes, I know that sounds corny and very magicy, but that is the part of the theory of how the body resists pathogens or resists diseases and stuff. I can also say Wei Qi controls the pores in the skin. They open or they close. If they're closed, it's harder for pathogens to get into the body. If it's opened, it's easier. It also helps to control the temperature of the body, sweating, not sweating. Now that I've said that, which sounds more scientific, or at least evidence-based science, um, as a martial artist, way back when I gave a seminar talking to people about the connection that you have with another person. And there is a distance that your body can feel like a sixth sense if they get too close to you. And it's 3 feet, basically. If someone is within 3 feet of you, you can tell almost immediately. And we did a trick. We had a person sit down blindfolded, and we didn't tell them that's, when somebody walked behind them, we just said, someone's going to walk behind you. You let us know when they've done it. And a few people were kind of sneaky about it. They tried to go in a little bit and then they jumped back. And everybody was laughing. But while they did that I did it actually. I just started walking right across. And almost immediately when I got over to his left shoulder, they said, someone's behind me. Everybody stopped. And they were all in shock because that was the moment just before I just walked into him. He almost knew immediately that I was there. And I stepped back. And I said, let's try it again. So I went around and I went to the right side. Everybody was laughing. Everybody was going. I started to walk. I got a little further the next time. I got somewhere behind him. He says, oh, somebody's behind me now. And they're like, yeah, it's, Rob's right behind you. As he took off his mask, he looked. I said, then that was twice you were able to do that. And I think we did it one more time where some other people did it. And again, this doesn't work for everyone. More people are sensitive than others. It's hard to do evidence-based medicine when everyone is built differently.
Mm-hmm.
Always going to get different results. Most of the time, it works pretty well. If you're tuned with it, and anyone can do this, stand in the grocery line. Somebody gets behind you, even if you're not looking, it's a good bet there's probably someone behind you and you can feel it.
That's similar to survival fitness in animal kingdoms. That's how they sense.
Yes, there is a sense that is, I don't say lessened with the way that we've been in life, but it is something that you can train and get better with.
That's interesting.
But how that's controlled, what does that? I can't explain it. There is no fight or flight. You just know somebody's standing behind you.
Well, we're still not sure a lot of things about human minds.
Yeah.
And now they want to input chips on the minds, but if we spend more money research studying our minds, that we might advance into another stage.
Yeah. Again, I don't think it's I do like the idea of the nerves. If you're going to do something with the mind, it's got to be very specific. Don't play with people's memories. I've seen some stuff where I believe someone was trying to see what someone was dreaming or thinking about. They tried to make a mental picture and see if they could
Oh,
take that picture into
yeah.
a display. That right now, that's useless. I don't see any reason to be able to, and again, that's opinionated, but I see a focus for more neurological medicine and neurology to take a new path towards helping the people who have, been disabled in some way. That's fantastic. I think that's the way that should go. You start playing with people's memories or their identities or any other that weird stuff that you see on sci-fi. We shouldn't be touching any of that.
That's similar to things that people are afraid hypnosis will alternate some people's minds
Yeah,
and reprogram it.
that's true. Uh, People, I can understand their fear because one of the things that is very, very hard for a person is change. And they're afraid that in hypnotism, whether you're making them act like a turkey or a pirate, you know, they don't want to face their fears. They don't want to face whatever it is that ails them and change it because they've become used to it. They've adapted to it.
Hmm.
And in doing so, it's going to literally change their life. And they don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
What if they find out certain things that they cannot accept in their life? It just ruins their whole mind.
Yeah.
Like it.
And, Neuralink is that you can ask that same question with Neuralink. How is this going to change you? How is it going to change your life? Are you okay with this type of change? Yeah,
It's just like back then when they do heart transplants, people change because it's not their hearts anymore, it's someone else's.
yeah,
And that's how interesting about the Chinese medicines.
yeah. With yin and yang, change is inevitable. Change is normal.
Yeah. And this heart is, of course, hopefully good heart. Some people have bad experience because that heart's it's belong to someone else who's not that great as a person. This articles there, they add to change.
Yeah,
So what if we put those microchips in, especially in people's mind, it directly into
yeah,
the brain, it can alternate this personality. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's just interesting. Uh, Still too early to understand what's going on. But there's always good things, there always be bad things.
yeah,
But I think most people think, oh my goodness, there's terrible things. There's a lot of fear. But I do agree with you, if we only do medical related, heck, if it improves someone's quality of life, they deserve a second chance. Why not? If they got nothing to lose, if they had the consent, okay. But if we never experience any problems with the health, then we will say, oh, yeah, no, why? We're normal. But then we had the fear, oh, what happened? They tend to cyborg.
yeah. Genetically modified soldiers. That's
See, once you input the chips, they could alternate anything. They could alternate. That's how our cells can reproducing itself, mutating. If one things can just like cancer cell. Once just like cancer cells, they start replicating. That's how you get those tumors and stuff. If if they had those microchips and they could alternate one of the cells into those DNA, we still can change. You or
mutate.
maybe we can be mutant X-Men.
You're you're
Magnetos.
going, yeah, you're going into some very strange nanomachines, Metal Gear type theory stuff now.
Hey, see this good with the podcast is more entertainment
Yeah,
because if we just think about it, we analyze it. Oh, it could be the other way. It's not Terminator. It could be mutants. We never know. It does because once you connect to the minds, the minds that actually helps us functions, where the cells change, the white blood cells, everything really. It's scary is one it take one cells to mutate. Then the mind will say, okay, leave these cells alone. Wow. So there's no signals that attacking that mutated cells that is microchipped automated DNA. It can't happen.
Well, you bring up now a very good point. For example, how do we know that plaque isn't going to start attaching itself to the stent device that's
Good,
there?
good. Definitely, but
No. How do you know how are we not going to know that the tiny little machines that are connecting themselves to the red blood cells or the white blood cells aren't now being identified as a threat to your bodily system and the immune system?
they had that many years ago when they inject those tiny microchips, try to look for diseases cells and
Yeah.
attack it. Of course, everything there's always a price to pay. If we had this, there will be different health issues now.
It's
Are
true.
we ready for that? Because it's part of like evolution now. If we put microchips in, people say, "Oh, human doesn't evolve that much because we so advanced." But once you put some chips in it, it could be
Yeah.
now we there's two different systems and health issues will be two different things. Now we have to learn how to treat with this microchips in our minds or in our bodies. And now we have to see how our acupuncture can play a role.
Yeah, that should be an
It's a
interesting
lot
thing.
of things that we just actually our treatment might be surprising. Yeah, because what we do is regulate energy, chi, or whatever nerves people say. But we might have kind of interesting outcomes because acupuncturists or Asian medicine treatments is been unearthed for eons.
Yeah.
They haven't changed that much. The only thing's changed is that the knowledge just disappear, but we still have basic knowledge. Modern medicine changed a lot, but our treatments doesn't change that much. It's kind of steady. So
Yeah.
maybe there is a treatment protocol in the future with we have this kind of issue with microchips symptoms. Okay.
We won't know until that happens.
Let's bring it on. I'm ready. That's why we had the organization to do research. But it's interesting how yeah, I think our treatment might not change that much.
It never has. I mean, we see the same colds.
Mhm.
Yes, the viruses are different. The viruses are always changing. There's nothing you can do about that. But the effects on the body, we've been using the same
Mhm.
herbs, uh, formulas for over 1,000 years. Yes, they're modified. We are always finding new herbs with new functions that we can use. I recently just learned about another herb that's very good for cancers. Um, I forget the specific one, but it's real nice to see that at least in oncology that they're still making some new uh, tests and research with different herbs that they have. I see that going further in medicine than the acupuncture in itself, especially with uh, I think was it the Nobel Prize or was it a different prize? The one that for the lady who used
Could be Nobel Prize. So.
it was for malaria. I think it was for malaria. I have to look it up. And again, I'll fix it here if I'm wrong.
I
Um,
think it's Nobel Prize.
we've known about using that herb for malaria. Well, Chinese medicine has known about using that herb for malaria for many, 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 many years. And it's always been used for it. I mean, even when I learned it 20 years ago, we knew this is specific for that disease, this disease, always. So it wasn't anything new. Yes, it probably was new to the medical field because holy smokes, where did this come from? But the chemical was always there. The problem is they just want to take the chemical out and forget the rest of the inactive ingredients that's there, which is supposed to be there because that's how yin yang theory works.
But it's just that they want to make money. They say, hey, I don't need those things. Compacted.
If they would give it out en masse to the people who had malaria or where malaria was quite an epidemic, yeah, that would be fantastic. But I'm sure they're looking to make a quick buck off of it.
That's always.
And have a very silly name for it and have a generic version as well.
Well, you have to have backup for everything.
Yeah.
Just to get the other one
Somebody else
get
somebody
too
else has to
expensive
make
for
money.
people to yeah.
So,
So how's everybody think about our topic today? What do you guys think actually? Do you guys like it? Do you guys feel it? It's definitely interesting because right now with the AI systems out there, people are talking about it, stock is going up. Now we talk about Neuralinks. I think a couple more years later, there's a lot of technologies out there that's just quite interesting. I think we all should learn about it, try to adapt from it, because our society really changing a lot. It's better not to go against it. It's because we have to adapt.
yeah.
The environment changes and we don't change. Even our treatments, that I wasn't kidding that we have to think of, about treating them. Definitely, there will be issues. There's nothing absolute. You see good sides of their technology to help with the benefits and health, but there's always a side effects. Are we able to treat? There might be the fever will not be 103, right? They might go up to 120.
Oh yeah, it might be. Well,
Um,
there will be some elevated levels
yeah,
because
the fever will be more than what it's supposed to be. But they might not pass away too.
hmm,
Who knows? They have maybe cooling system to cool the brain, but the fever will be high. We don't know yet. But now we have to think about the treatment wise too. It's gonna be interesting. Soon, I think probably 2 or 3 more years. It's it's not going to take that long. It's not going to take 10 years to. Our technology is real quick and fast, especially with the computer processing stuff.
well, it's not just one person working on it either. I believe there's at least three companies right now working on that.
In America, the US is three. We do not consider other countries.
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
what it would be
They
in.
are like China definitely having it. It's like a race. That thing was atomic bomb. Who can do the atomic bomb quicker and faster?
Yeah.
Nuclear bombs. So
Well, yeah, now we're
now,
talking of who can get to the moon first.
now definitely who can get the AI system and the microchips can help. So definitely, it's good for businesses.
Oh,
Uh, yeah. Well, it's good for our business. Maybe we
yeah.
can into a holistic cyborg treatment.
Well, I think I'm going to say that at least Oriental medicine will stay natural.
Yeah.
The,
Well,
I will have to throw this in because I know someone will say it. Yes, that includes laser acupuncture, which is another good topic for another day. We
mm,
both had a a Western medicine teacher
mhm.
who was very big with the uh, inclusion of laser acupuncture. He did a lot of tests with it. And he found it very, very effective with things. So
Yeah, I have laser device at home, the blue one and the red ones.
yeah,
Yeah, we could talk about that. Yeah, it's a little bit interesting, but
I've never used it, so I don't know too much about it.
problem is you had to have some device to stick on you. If not, you keep pulling it like matza. That's get very tiresome.
Ah,
Okay, I think uh,
we're good for
please
tonight.
people give us some feedbacks.
Yeah,
Please don't attack us. Just please be nice to us. We like to hear from you guys. Yeah, anything. What you guys think? That's our opinions, but what about your opinions? That's the major things with this podcast to share opinions. So yeah, I hope you guys can get more friends and family from listening to us.
and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye bye now.
Bye bye. Where's my stop?